don't need a high-end designer or a lot of money to get a luxe look. Be your own interior designer.
This is Affordable Interior Design, the podcast.
Here's your host, Betsy Helmuth.
All right, let's get to this next question from Renee. Renee, again, writing in from Atlanta, says, "Hi again, Betsy. What would you do for our kitchen backsplash? I was thinking a greige subway tile, but I've heard you say subway tile might soon go out of style. Here's the backstory. We'd like to freshen up the kitchen, but we do not have $20,000 for the redo. When we moved in, our dining area was carpeted, and our family room was lined with dark wood paneling. We've painted the paneling, we ripped out the carpet, and we updated the appliances from the original 1970 avocado green electric microwave oven cooking center, which is why the area behind the stove is a different backsplash material. Our backsplash is currently a yellowed off-white formica. We do hope to get rid of the little island area and of the countertop so we can fit in a bigger dining table that will hopefully not be wood grain. Thank you so much for the podcast. I'm always wishing I would have read your book before we bought our house 3 years ago instead of waiting till now, 3 years after." All right. Well, Renee, I'm here for you now. That's the important thing that matters. And I realize why I was confused about you being Jonathan. The pictures came from Jonathan. Looks like that may be your partner or maybe your husband. And the email came from Renee. It's all coming together now. All right. So, yes, looking at this kitchen, you do have sort of a mid-tone to dark wood cabinet. And then the floor is definitely a mid-tone wood that is much lighter than the cabinetry. You do have like a mottled color formica countertop, looks like to me, that has beige. It might be quartz, actually. You'd mentioned formica, but that might be the backsplash. And this might be some kind of quartz that has like beige, browns, creams. So it is a little bit dark in here, especially as it opens to that dining area that has those beautiful, almost floor to ceiling windows and plenty of lighting. So I could understand why you'd want to lighten this up a little bit. And I do think a backsplash would be a great way to do it. You were mentioning that you were thinking about gray subway tiles. From what I can see here, I definitely wouldn't do a pure gray or anything too blue or cold because you want to pull a tone. Since the countertop involves so many tones, you want to pull one of the tones from there. Subway tile. I feel like subway tile is an uninspired choice. I feel like people use it too much. And even though it's classic and does not go out of style, I would never personally use it in my own space unless I laid it in a new way. If I tried a chevron, perhaps, something more visually interesting. If I used an elongated subway tile, some way to make it feel slightly more designerly rather than just the default, right? Because yes, I know it's affordable. And yes, I know you can find it anywhere. And yes, I know most people will not have a negative reaction to it. But is that really a reason to choose it? One thing that I'm seeing with your backsplash is that your countertop goes up, maybe 3 or 4 inches up on that wall, meaning that the area for the backsplash is much smaller than it would typically be. Whenever I have a backsplash that's much smaller than the typical surface area, I will do a tile that's a little bit smaller as well. That way it feels in scale to the space that's there. You know, when I have a very large backsplash, in other words, if there's a lot of wall or if I'm going to take that tile all the way up the wall in certain areas, I will go for a mid-size or larger tile to really add that drama. And again, play with the scale of the surface area. If I have a large amount of surface area on which I'm putting the backsplash, I'm going to use a larger tile. I do that in other areas as well, come to think of it. Like when I'm doing a shower floor, it's typically a pretty small scale space. And so I'll do a small scale tile also because it's easier to put on a slant, right? Or to grate as you often do in a shower. And then in a small bathroom, I will not go for large format floor tiles because it's just out of scale. I might do medium, I might do small, but I save the large format in a small bathroom for a large surface area, like say maybe the walls or the shower surround, right? So these are some ideas to keep in mind as you're choosing that tile. Now, this area throughout is a lot of brown. It's brown on brown on brown on beige, right? This might be a fun place to add a pop of color. You know, brown is considered a warm color. And so I would like to cool down all of this brown by incorporating a cool color. Now, a cool color that's not very popular is purple. So, unless you're planning on being here for 15 years and you don't care about resale value, I would avoid purple just because it's not a color that appeals to most people. But I would definitely consider doing a blue tile or a green tile. I think that that would really add visual interest, make it look like you made a strong choice, and also cool down this warm, warm kitchen. Pun intended, because kitchens do tend to get warm, right? When you turn that oven on. I couldn't help myself, Renee. You know I love cheese, and I'm going to love to see what you do with this kitchen. Guys, if you want to see Renee's kitchen, make sure you go to our YouTube channel. I'm going to be providing you with all the information very soon, so you won't have to rely on my descriptions to understand visually what this room looks like. But Renee, I'm very excited for you. And I completely agree that you should not do a wood dining table. It's woodamania in here. And the more you can layer in other things, other materials that are not wood, be they a rug, drapes, artwork, anything to distract from all this brown, it's going to really be a breath of fresh air. A big thank you to our amazing producer, Catherine Heller, to Aton and the MCR House Band, and to Affordable Interior Design, the sponsor of this podcast and the premier place to get an amazing look on a budget. Check out affordableinteriordesign.com. If you guys love the show, the very best way to support us is by spreading the word. Tell your friends or write us an awesome review on iTunes. So until next week, guys, thanks so much for joining us, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.